helps a lot. There we go. Yeah, look at there. She's cleaning up really nice. All right, let's hit her again with a little scrub. Here we are. Now I'm hoping that my daughter and I will shoot maybe at least once a month, if not more. I'm planning to shoot a lot more. I own a 100-acre farm, and I can shoot here out on the farm all I want. But the comfort and convenience and of a range is fun, plus the camaraderie. So I enjoy going to the range. Always did. Did in the military, and I do now. And I love not having to be a range safety officer. Responsibility. Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm retired. Yay. All right. Let's see how we're doing now. Oh yeah, plenty bad stuff on there. And again, this stuff is corrosive, and over time would cause rust, and the rust over time would cause pitting, and none of that is desirable on your weapon. So don't let it happen. Okay, we're getting this thing done. Need to change, and we continue to use the metal. Be sure and guide it around the center cylinder bearing point, because that gets a lot of crud in it. There we go. Starting to look good. See? Compared to the way it was when I tilted, I'm trying to get the shine. I'll get better lighting for my videos, and I also got a better camera. For those that are wondering, this is a Canon SX420i, S I believe it is, or I, and it's 720. It is, I have outgrown it. I took it to Paris. I've decided, number one, I needed the full 1080p, and it has a fixed mic, and it has no mic jack, so the audio is limited. So this little camera as my prime video camera days are numbered, but I'll be using it as my emergency and go-to camera for stills, which it does absolutely perfectly. In case you're wondering what I replaced it with, I got a Nikon 630, which is a full frame camera for those that care about that stuff. Beautiful camera. Not cheap, but not overly expensive, but a good quality Nikon camera. And I know it's pronounced Nikon for my Japanese friends. I was stationed in Japan for 6 years. I know that. But in America, we call it Nikon, and even the Nikon executives call it Nikon when they're in the States. So what can you say about that, right? Nice babble. Give y'all plenty of babble talk. All right, let's. Okay, now I'm giving it a rub with a clean, and look at there. Still, but what you're mainly looking at is simply the solvent itself. See, that's an enormous difference. There we go. So that cylinder head has had all of that really nasty and potentially damaging corrosive powder residue and priming residue removed. There we go. All right. So now we have the cylinder, the individual cylinders to clean. So I'll take my rod, and I will use the, this one appears to be copper, the copper brush, hard brush. Nylon brushes are available too, but for the cylinders and barrels, use the metal. You can handle it. They're very well made. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through, go all the way through, come all the way back. Go all the way through, come all the way back, and go through a complete cycle all the way around. That's all you got to do. Now, unlike a barrel, there's no spin in a cylinder, so you'll notice I'm not holding it by the handle because it doesn't need to spin. But when you're doing the barrel, and I'll go over this, you need to hold it by the handle or make sure you allow it to spin, because that barrel has a twist in it. That twist adds to the stability of the bullet when it fires. And you need to not damage that, and you want the cleaning brushes to go into that and clean out those twists. Okay, so I've gone through this a couple of times around. Take a break and put it up to the light. Take a look at it. Ooh, looking really good. Take a look at that. Go ahead and hold it. And put it up to the light. See how shiny that is? See any little bits or pieces? And it's okay if you do. Your eyes are sharper than mine.
No, not really.
Not really. Yep, we got that pretty good. But because you always make sure you do it right, do it one more time. Do it as many times as you think you need, and then do it one more time. Yay! So here we go. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to make sure that I do every barrel. I don't get too carried away and skip one. Put that off to the side. Take a nice look in there. Very good. Okay. So now, if you want to use a jag, by all means do so. But I'm going to use a loop just because this particular weapon is nice and tight with the loops. I get a good amount of force, resistance, and it works out just fine. So that's what I'm going to use. Take a tiny pad.
It started again.
All right. Hopefully we recorded some of it. We just did a little recheck of our camera because it beeped at us. Here we go. You can see a lot of crud comes out. And I will now repeat this as many times as necessary until the patch is clean when it runs through all the cylinders. So at this point we have soaked it in solvent, and we have brushed it with solvent on the brush, and now we're using a dry pad, and we're going through all 6 cylinders each pass, removing any dirt or residue that has been dissolved by the solvent, and removing the solvent too. That's a bad sign. I hope this recorded. The colonel will not be happy. Talking in third person again. You gotta watch out that. Those old sergeant majors do that to you, right? They talk about you in the third person. Drives me nuts. I love them though. All right. There we go. And you can see it's still picking up lots of residue, so we'll keep putting in pads. But it's a very by the numbers thing, you know. By the way, when we reach the end of the cleaning process, I will talk about the difference between I'm going to be going to the range in a few days or a few weeks versus I'm probably not going to use this weapon for a couple of months. Because the way you finish off your cleaning depends on that. Of course, if you think you're going to shoot it quickly, and then you don't, you need to quickly come back and put in the long-term maintenance. Otherwise, if you do the long-term maintenance, but you suddenly decide to shoot it the next day, no big deal. But there really is a difference, and this is based on my armorer's recommendations and weapons manufacturers and the various arsenals and depots I've chatted about long-term maintenance. Because I always loved the fact that my soldiers kept their guns in good shape, and we kept our maintenance requirements low, but the weapons reliability high. I love the way my soldiers took care of their weapons, and I rewarded them and encouraged them to do so. And I also took care of my own. Here we go. So this is kind of a slow, tedious little process here, but each patch is getting cleaner. And yeah, I know some people don't mix cylinders. They'll take a set of patches and just do one cylinder at a time. It's okay. Sit there and just pump this through one until it gets clean.